and I don't want interviews after this video. I remember I told my dad this story that the last time I went home, and I told him I was taught to sacrifice you, but because I was in denial, you know, my mind and my soul were in a conflict. And there was a time I promised God that, God, if I'm going to repeat the same mistake that I do, let me get a car crash. I was supposed to go to Benin because, Mombasa is initiation, Benin is ranking. Hello my good people, it's your boy Rayton San. For the less people call me Ray, those with enough time, they can call me Rayton. I have not changed, but a few things have changed. And before I start this video, because I can see you have read the title and you have seen the thumbnail, that's why you're here. And it's weird, by the way. It's a kind of different of a video that nobody expected. So before I start, I just want to say, because I know many vloggers and many bloggers, they are watching me, and I don't want interviews after this video. Because I've realized when we content creators, when you confess things to the public or to our fans to know exactly what's going on with our lives, they end up cutting their favorite parts and they clip it online, then you get insulted or people misunderstand that. So before I start anything, I just don't want any type of interviews anyway. Understand? Those who have been watching me recently, they have realized I don't have rings. Look for the last like 20 videos on both channels, even on TikTok, you will realize I don't have rings. But before there, I used to have at least 4 rings, two. You understand? You have all been on these breaks, constant breaks, and you didn't know exactly what was going on. I used to give you just, oh, it's equipment, oh, it's financial issues, oh, it's my mental issue. But it wasn't actually that one. Let me take you back. There is something here. Okay, I just want to say this. As I'm speaking right now, with what I'm going to confess or say, I know these people, they are still watching me. And this is not type of jokes that I usually do to you guys, or those types of pranks, or that video you expect at the end of the video there is something that he was saying is just a prank. No, I'm dead serious, because come next year, we are going to notice a lot of big changes. These changes might hurt people and benefit me, or might impress people and hurt me. When I'm saying this, I know that some people have already made conclusions, made assumptions about exactly what might be happening, but I can just assure you that we are not there. There is this interview I did, I don't know whether it's David Charms or Fagilia TV, and I said in the next 7 years, I will be dead. I'll not be alive. And that clip went viral. Many people clipped it on TikTok, Facebook, and wow, people say that this guy might be in Freemason, this guy might be under things that is not supposed to be, or it's not his will. All right, I'm not going to lie to you, it was true. Many of you, when they hear me speaking about things like LGBTQ and all that, I usually condemn it, and people wonder, why do you condemn it and you are in it? Wow, that's a quite good story, and that's where we are getting now. If you have anything to do, just stop it for a minute, sit down and be careful. Then recently you heard that my YouTube channel was taken away and all that. There's some other time you've heard I was lost and people are looking for me, other people going to look for me in the mortuary and all that. Then there was a story that my dad, I was told this now, but that my dad was saying if I'll be found dead, some people will be answerable, and it was kind of unnecessary threats. All that I'm just giving you flashbacks so that you can connect. After some time, there was a story that was speculating around that Jude and I, we are part of Freemason and all that, but in this video, I just want to talk about me. and this story is entirely about me, nobody else. This story, I've shared it with my director, I've shared it with Jude, I've shared it with some two godparents, let me say godparents, like godmothers, and it's our type of a strange story. There was this time I was lost, and those who follow me, they knew that went viral a lot. And I recorded a video. I was somewhere at night, and I said that for those who are looking for me and speculating something is wrong, let them know that there is nothing that is wrong. So it was actually, I was somewhere. You know, when you're in this world of fame or popularity, people know you, you meet different people. Many people want to give you deals. Many people see potentials in you. Many people think that people of your type, they need to be here or there so that they can sustain whatever they have in life, or they can increase it. And yes, I met this person. In this video entirely, I'm not going to mention anybody's name. You understand? Unless I know these names won't bring trouble to me, like Jude, maybe my director, you know, because these are the people I've shared the story to. It was my story that I was sharing to them, because after I came back, they were like, why did you give us this hard time? Because many people thought it was cloud chasing, but I used to feel pity for those who are looking for me. There's also a certain girl who knows this story, and I know where she is. She used to always pray for me and try her best. I'm not going to mention again this girl, but most of you know her. And there were times that I used to go and do some weird type of shit, and you know, and it happened that I met this guy. He was part of a certain cult, and is, I can't say filthy rich, but he's rich. He's someone. It says that if you have like 100 million in your bank, you are a millionaire. And I think this guy is a millionaire, but he's not that old. So what we did, this guy talked to me for a while, like 2 weeks. Then we had to meet on the third week. We met in a very good place. Then we talked about the deal we negotiated. Then it was like, you do great content, and I can see in you, Nyotako, Inanga, those things about stars and all that, you know. And he told me that he knows a place where he can introduce me, and wow, I can get more famous, more rich. I can do whatever I want to do. You understand? But I was supposed to give around 300,000. But you see, like when you have a godfather and you don't have this amount of money, this person can provide this for you, and after you have been enrolled into the card, you are not going to return it as 300k or maybe at a profit of 10%. No, you don't return it as money. This person becomes like your godfather, whereby if he initiates someone under him or her, then he gets a higher rank. So that is what was going to happen. So I was supposed to be under him, unless I recruit another one to be under me, then my rank could be higher, and this or her could be more higher. Wow, so we met, and he told me about the power in the trees, the power in wearing certain clothes, the power in avoiding some people, the power in all those things, you know. And I was like, which world do we live in? So I'm a curious person. Even in my bio, I said I'm a curious person, and I'm gonna try crazy stuff. And I said, if you wanna know it's true, you just subscribe. And here we are today, me giving you the story. We went to Mombasa, and I was, you know, I'm just fast forward. So we went to Mombasa, and I was initiated. You know, when I say it that way, it looks so simple, and many people say this story online and all that. I have already created a good fan base. I am not here to cloud chase. I'm not here to give you stories for me to make money on YouTube. No, I'm just giving you a real story. Because sometimes you might end up being hurt. Like, we subscribe to this guy, is not giving us content. Every time he's complaining what might be wrong with him. And you know, sometimes we are human beings, and we go through some temptations. Every young man is angry for success. We really need this thing. We really need to make it. Maybe sometimes we have families back at home that are looking at us. Sometimes you're afraid of failing. All right, enough of links. So we went to Mombasa. I was initiated. I was given a ATM card worth 10 million and PIN, an obvious PIN, but on one condition. I am only supposed to use that money after agreeing to sacrifice someone from my family. And they wanted specifically, okay, I'm not going to mention specifically who, because this might bring another problem to my family, but they wanted someone. And I was given, I said, it's kind of hard for me to give a decision at the moment, but let me go and think about it. I was given the ATM, and it's like the ATM line is like a trap. Every time you just rotate around and you don't have any money, you just think about it. You just see your ATM and they're like, wow, should I make this decision? And you know the PIN, when you go to the ATM, you just look at the balance and you can see it, but it is not under my name, you understand? It's just under someone's name, but I know the PIN. So for like 6 days I thought, and I called this person and I said no, because at that time I was given some weird types of instructions, like I'm sorry to say this, because there's some people I made them do things not knowing that it was fulfilling some types of my promises for me to get there, and that some people were involved, but I don't think it affected them until the moment they quitted working with me. There's some people I've worked with, and at the end of the day they quitted. They never knew what I was doing. So there was this time I went to meet this guy again, and I left. I was my manager, my PA, then my director in the studio. So after I went there, it was like erase everyone you have in your team you are working with, then you start afresh, because now you are going to be given more experienced people, and people can take you to another level. Because they told me, as far as you're even in a cult, you need to put in the work. You understand? You are just given insights, or that it's this satanic grace that you can make things work so easily. I say, like, wow, if that's what happens, then I'm gonna do it. So if these people can really talk, they can say. I got to studio that time, it was around 12 or 2. 12, no, 2 p.m. I got in the studio, I found them, they were fighting. So miraculously, they were fighting each other, and so it was a good time for me to snap and say, I don't need any of you, you just go. Remembering my director was there, and we started with him, and I never told him anything. But I left a letter. You remember I left a letter that went viral. Many people read it. I was talking about my camera, because when I was going to Mombasa, I wasn't sure, are these people going really to hurt me, or am I going to fulfill the fact that I'm not able to sacrifice anyone and come back? So I left a letter. The reason as to why I switched my phone, this person never wanted to be traced. You understand? It was type of weird night. Then people were looking for me all over. They never found me. Then after like 2-3 days, I talked on TikTok. I was recording a video while I was in darkness somewhere. Many people said they are cloud chasing and all that. I understand. Every other content creator does the same, and I don't blame anyone when it comes to a point that everybody thinks when people are doing some weird stuff, they are cloud chasing. And someone might be asking, why did I decide to share this story? After my channel went the other day, I sat down and reflected, like, why do I have to hurt myself? Why do I have to hurt my fans in the name of breaks, in the name of mental health, in the name of financial struggles? Why? And I told myself, I'm going to say this so that not anyone else is going to fall in this trap, because it starts like a friendship. I want to help you. I want to take you somewhere. I want to get you to some level. I just love you, and it ends up being a bad story. And mark this interview. I am sure even if this video gets 100 views only, there will not miss someone out of the 100 who will come to show people a reference of this video, of things that I talked in this video. And because I know after this video, even people close to me, they are going to ask me questions. Is it true, or what? Why did you decide to do that video without informing us? And maybe I can lie to them to maneuver the story, but mark this story, that one day in future, you're going to witness a lot of weird stuffs. Let me continue the story. Um, After I went there, this guy really got mad at me that I brought you here, you have failed me. These people never believed that I can bring someone who does not cooperate here. So we became instant enemies. I thought now I'm free and I'm good to go. But it was start of chaos. Very many times I've thought of suicide or of committing suicide. Very many times I just went home to apologize and talk to my dad, but every time I got there, I was unable to tell him exactly why I had gone home. Because at some point I used to feel guilty. Why did I? Okay, I had said I'm not going to mention my family member, but I remember I told my dad this story that last time I went home. And I told him I was taught to sacrifice you, but I couldn't hold it. And my dad surprisingly told, I knew. And that's why I've always avoided you. You know, the weird part is that not so many people around me know. I think only three, four, no, around six people know, because we have the godmothers, two of them. We have Jude, we have my director, then we have that girl, you know. Those around six people. My brothers do not know, do not have an idea. They are going to hear this for the first time. And, you know, I don't know why from the word go, even when I was in high school, I've always have that imagination of without cult, you cannot be as successful as these big people in Hollywood. You know, it was just my imagination because of what I used to feed my mind with watching, the curiosity on me of like, what does it really happen? What does it take people to get somewhere? With that curiosity, it led me to try crazier stuffs. So, this guy got angry with me, and I thought it is an end of a certain trip because I've really said no to what they wanted me to do. And this guy, someone might wonder, why was this guy getting angry? But it's because he knows, or she knows, once I am recruited under this cult, he's going to get a higher rank, you know, despite the money, because he already has money, he has cars, he has mansions, he has his businesses or her businesses, you know. But it happened. That interview that I said I'm going to die in 7 years, I had already gotten an insight that people in this type of cults don't get far. We get filthy rich, filthy, yani, more famous like hell, but it's like if someone was to get 70 years, whatever, all that money you're supposed to get the way to 70, you just get it in a quicker period. All that life you're supposed to live up to 70, you just live it in a quicker period, then you die after some times. Say it was 7 years. And I was not scared because sometimes I was like, why should I stay for 50, 60, 70 years, 80 years, 90 years while suffering? I was like, let me just enjoy my 10 years, polite, and die. But as the reality started hitting me, it was a very tough moment. I used to struggle a lot and I never used to tell anyone. But I just met someone who used to pray a lot. And we started becoming friends, and I used to tell this person, pray for me. And this person used to ask me, did you pray? And people mistook this person to be my girlfriend. But I used to love her because this is someone who used to show me to pray. Like, Rayton, pray. This is a very dangerous sport. This person, I used to share this story and I used to cry. Because sometimes, I remember there was time I was called while this person was there and I started crying. And after that, that's when I explained this story to her because I never wanted anyone to know. After that is when I explained this story to her. And she was like, is it difficult to get out of that place? And I said, yes, it is really difficult. Then she referred me to their pastor back in Ushago, and I said, I don't really trust these pastors again because they might be part of the group again, and as I'm going to rescue myself, I inject myself to another problem. Or they be like, we are praying for you, are getting you to a safer place, but instead they are just planning something worse. Because these people, they plan just to snap you once. And someone might be, why are you risking to share this story with us? Me, I've always been that guy. If I have to die, let people know what killed me. Me, I'm not afraid of dying. And not that I'm so tired of life. No, I'm really enjoying my life. I'm really happy because at this point, I am controlling myself. The small part of me that is being controlled is a small one. And it is something that God is pulling me through, and it is something that God is working to make sure that I am good. I have my mom Karen. This is a godmother, and she's someone who really, really, really prays for me. And one day I woke up and texted her and asked her, is it possible for someone to make it in life just without involving him or herself in many things, like a cult or corruption or whatever? Is it possible? Because she is 58, I think, and she's doing well. She's someone I would be like, I want to live a life like yours. And she watches my YouTube and she'd be like, I asked her, Mom, do you think what I do is right entirely with my relationship with whatever I do? And she told me, the reason I started love this woman is because she told me, Rayton, do what you have to do until Jesus pulls you out of that. Because sometimes in life, God might place you as a lesson or as a reflection to other people's life to learn through you. Same way, he had to place Jesus in some point to make sure he suffered on behalf of other people to be rescued. It is the same story that happens with human beings. I am not so good with Bible. I am not so good with Christianity. There was a time everybody knew I was an atheist. I went again to agnostic theist. The difference is theist is someone who doesn't believe in God. Then after I was rescued, I was like, why did God had to let me go through this? Why did God had to let my mom die? Or maybe there's no God. Then I became agnostic theist. In a way that you can't say there's God or you cannot say there's no God. You can't prove you're in between. But after some times, I really started seeing God. I used to witness, whenever I started praying, things started to change. In a way that my things started going well, but other people's things who were close to me started going worse. And I started noticing there's some things that are going weird, And at some point, I started losing my character. I started becoming wild and weird in a way that I used to speak a lot. I used to say a lot. I used to get angry a lot because I was in denial, My mind and my soul were in a conflict. I used to be like, oh no, what am I doing? Why do I have to suffer? Why am I going through all these things? But after some times, I sat down and I started crying and I told God, just give me another chance. I don't want to call it last chance, but I just want to ask for another one because I don't know if I'm going to mess again and ask for another one. So I'm not going to say, give me a last chance. And there was a time I promised God that, God, if I'm going to repeat the same mistake that I do, let me get a car crash. God is witness. I can't lie these things in front of God. And I told God, if I'm going to repeat the same sin that I do, let me get a car crash. But I will not tell you that it was God's voice speaking to me, but I had another thought. Maybe that's what people call God's voice, but I had a thought. Like, I won't lie to you. Me, I'm not here to exaggerate things and tell you that I heard God's voice, I heard a whisper from heaven. No, I just had another intruding thought and was like, you don't have to say that because you don't know tomorrow. People are full of sympathy and they may end up doing things just to make other people happy. So don't swear your future actions to your repercussions. And sometimes I used to say, I'm nafanya dhambi. In my conscience, I'm like, you ain't doing it right. But at some point I was saying, it is not my will. If it was in my power, I would have controlled so many things. And just to let you to that point, I'm not regretting anything, because it is better that these things found me when I was young, in a way that after I'm out of it, I could control my life going forward. Because if these things happened to me while I was in my 30s, my 40s, I would crash out, because there would be no like other chance to make things go right. This is where now the trouble came in. I used to have people sent to my studio, threats, you know, people would come, leave letters under your door. This now is not threat about the cult. It was threat about from different people, because I failed them, because I've embarrassed them, and again someone. I remember there was time I was told, if you ever say anything, we are going to kill you. And I just told them, I don't have to say anything. Just like now, even when I'm saying that, I'm not mentioning anybody's name, but I don't have to mention you or say you, because what will it benefit people? You understand? Because you ain't the only one who are recruiting these people. After Mombasa, we were supposed to go to Benin. Is it in Nigeria? I was Nigeria, something of that kind. There was a story I was telling people, I'm going to Nigeria, but I'll have to go to Tanzania first. And funny enough, someone said, why does it sound weird for how you're mentioning to go to these places? And I said, I'm just going for a tour, but it was a plan that I was supposed to go to Benin. Because, Mombasa is initiation, Benin is rankings. And you have all heard about these things called voodoo, these things called whatever. Just research about it. Benin, Togo. Is it Benin in Togo? Something of that sort. But I remember the real name was Benin. And I was ready to go, because I'm not paying any flight, I'm not paying anything about me. Just go, I get initiated, I get my small card, this person gets an higher rank. After some years, my rank goes higher. Then after you notice, it came a time and people are like, I'm not trending anymore, my videos are not going viral. And that is why it's like a point where I came and hit the wall. I had so many incredible ideas, I swear, that are in this phone. Right now, in my YouTube ideas, I'm number 47. No, untouched number of videos to be done, number 47. But do you know why they are never done the way I plan? It's because I feel like I'm always sabotaged. When I tell people my plan, I think, oh, they're my friend, I need to tell them about me, maybe they can throw another thought inside it. But I've always been wrong. Because like this person, I used to rely on this person on finances, this guy who took me to this place. Okay, I'm not hiding anymore, because when I hide about the gender again, it's going to bring a lot of controversies. It was a he. Because you have millions or billions of he's, and you cannot say I'm just talking about you because you unajishuku. I've met different people, and it might be you thinking that I'm talking about you, kumbe I'm talking about another person. But if I've gone to all these places with you, you really know it's you. And I'm not risking my life saying this, because it is past, and it is like 8 months, a year since these things happened. And I've said this because next year my life is going to take a different direction. Might be rough at the start, but it has to take a different direction. I don't know what part of story I've not given or what I've given, but the reason as to why probably today I'm not rich is because I wanted to give my dad his time to live. Maybe it's because I was a coward or afraid, But at some point I started believing that even with God, you can still make it. I know many people say it is difficult, but the problem with us is that we want more. We want to be on top of everyone. But let me tell you, this mother of mine, she lives in the US, Karen, told me that I won't lie to you, because she lives in California, Los Angeles, and this is where the Hollywood is, everything happens there. And she told me, I'm not going to hide anything to you. The devil has a lot of money. And if you want to get them, you can get them. It will look like a very smooth journey just because you have been given a few instructions, or because you are heartless, you're going to do a lot of things that he says. But at the end of the day, it is you who will have to go. No matter how bright you think you are, no matter how many people have gone through the same process, but at the end of the day, you must be hit. And she told me, if you're ready to be hit, or you think you can take the whole weight with you of being hit, go ahead. And after carefully thinking about it, I will not say I gave my life to Christ, because there is a way you people term it. Giving yourself to Christ is going to the church, removing earrings, dyeing your hair black again. But my body has nothing to do with my heart. God is only interested with my heart. And next year, I want you to note this part. I'm repeating it for the third time. My life is going to take a very different direction. I am going to be more popular. I am going to be probably one of the most controversial content creators living in this country. And maybe I'm going to lose a lot of friends. Why? Because I'm in that point where now, because I'm controlling my life to a certain percentage, I'm probably going to do me now, to do the kind of Rayton, the risk taker. Because after some time, you realize I started doing contents, and I started to look so scripted. You understand? I was like I was doing job for someone. You remember? Ukiangalia, there is an era it came and Rayton was doing, he was doing like a certain type of videos to impress people. And every time I looked like I want to break that chain of doing me, things used to fall back. You understand? So, if you want to clip these parts and put them on TikTok, I don't really care. But I said I don't want interviews. But this time round, because I can control myself, I'm going, and because everyone expects me to fail, and these people expect me to fail. You remember like the story of Rose Muhando? People thought after all this scandal she's going to fail or die. But she's still there and making good moves. It is the same story that is going to happen to me. Me, I have the guts or ego to predict my future. If I am going to be alive next year, you are all going to see crazy stuffs. And I said I'm going to lose a lot of friends, because many people are going to be scared with the kind of lifestyle I'm going to be living. Not a rich lifestyle, but a very weird one. But as long as my director will understand me, and a few close people, because there's some few close people to me already know the journey that I've already started, which is supposed to be public from next year. And I hope these people have not shared my story again with my enemies, because if this time my things flops, I am not going to have mercy. So I've told my confidants, and I think it's only 4 people who knows about this story. 4 people knows exactly about what is going to happen next year. And I am not going to be that kind of a drunkard, chaotic person. I'm going to be a very strategic and well-planned person. So, see you in the next video.